Hey, this is Tami Roman from Basketball Wives, and you are listening to Versed Online.
Hello, Tami?
Uh-huh.
All right. So thank you for taking the time to speak with me, first off.
Thank you for having me.
You're quite welcome. I want to first offer my condolences for the passing of your mom.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. So, wow to last night's episode of Basketball Wives. Let's start off with this. You supported Evelyn going back to Chad after their physical incident. Do you really think abusers can change?
Well, first let me say I wasn't supportive of her going back to Chad. She wanted to go back, and my advice to her was, if that's a decision that you really want to make, then I suggest you seek counseling individually, have him do it individually, and then you guys come back together and do counseling together. After you've gone through that process, if you still feel that it's worth it to both of you, then, he should be afforded a second chance. So it wasn't just the incident happened and I said, girl, you need to go on back to Chad. That wasn't how the conversation went, and that wasn't my advice to her. I have been in abusive relationships myself, and I left every single time, and no one was afforded a second chance. But in speaking with her, that was what, she wanted to do anyway for herself. But I do believe that people, when they want to make the necessary changes, that they are capable of change. I think it would be remiss for me to say that no one, that people can't change. I think that would be very flippant for me to say, because if a person is diligently willing to put in the work, then I think anything is possible. A lot of people say that, if a man hits you one time, then it's going to be a continuous effort, a continuous action. Mm-hmm. And I think that in those situations, that is because the person is not trying to seek help, that a person is really not trying to dig within themselves and find the root of the problem and then work on their behavior and their reason for lashing out, or their reason for attacking a lesser gender. And so, but to answer your question as articulately as I can, I don't think that people that are abusive, I don't think that everyone will continue that behavior if they're a person that willingly and diligently wants to work towards change. I think change is possible for anybody.
Absolutely. Okay. Now on to last night's episode. Why did the remarks Shawnee and Evelyn make about potentially going really wrong or really right get under your skin as much as it did?
I think that for me, on the show, it stems from a place of, yes, I've had previous actions on the show, and I have openly admitted that I'm not proud of some of those moments, and that, in working on myself, I think, okay, let me say this. Mm-hmm. If people get to the root of why somebody does something, and so that's what I needed to do, was get to the root of why I continually lashed out at people. You're talking about a person who has been molested, who has been abused in abusive relationships, who, had difficult situations growing up in her life. So I am a very defensive person. Mm-hmm. So for me, violation of personal space, that's not just because you put your hand in my face. That's because I have been violated in my personal areas, and it's very serious to me. So not knowing how to handle things and not having ever gone through therapy in my life, the past of Tami lashed out, because that's all I knew how to do to defend myself my entire life. And now I am going through therapy. I have a spiritual advisor, and I think that anybody coming into this situation, with the girls in the show, that I should be allowed the opportunity to just meet that person and get to know that person, and vice versa. without there being a pretense, without there being a disclaimer. You know, when I sat with Tasha, I didn't say, well, girl, this is how I am. The first time that I met her, I went into her home and I just said, okay, let's just all have a nice dinner and let's, you know, do this thing. And I think that that's how it should have been approached, because I don't offer disclaimers or anything when I talk to people about them. Right. And they've done things too. So I just think that everybody should have that open door where it's not like she hasn't watched our show. It's not like whatever they said, she didn't already know. So give her the chance to come in and just go, okay, I've seen these things, but let me go ahead on and just meet her. Right. And have her form her own opinion. Because a lesser person, Tasha happened to be very strong-minded and didn't, you know, take offense to it and wanted to meet me and wanted to get to know me and didn't give their comments any attention. But a lesser-minded individual could have come into that situation very defensive and felt like they needed to, be on guard. And now we're all of a sudden we're at odds and we don't even know why.
Right. Okay. Well, congratulations for even taking the steps to getting counseling on this particular aspect of your life. That takes a really commendable person to do that.
Thank you.
And what's the relationship now between you and the cast members?
I don't talk to them and they don't talk to me.
Okay. All right. All right. You stated numerous times about attitude change and not being in the place. How difficult is it to do that or maintain that change while being on that show?
It's very difficult, because you're talking about the only person that I knew coming into the situation was Shawnee. And right. So she would be the only person that I really, consider like, oh, that was my friend coming into this moment. So when you take somebody and you put them with people that aren't really their friends, right. Then you're always going to have some type of animosity or confusion or disagreements. Now, I try to build friendships with, everybody that's on the show, because we do have to work together and we do have right. to share common ground, but Tammy's just always going to be Tammy. And, even in working on myself, because people aren't really your real friends, when right. they see you working on things, they don't care. People will try to push buttons and people will continuously try to cause you to be someone that you work, out of character, mm-hmm. out of the character that you're trying to work towards. And so it's very difficult, and I think that's what people saw on the episode last night. Now, just because I'm working on change doesn't mean that it happens overnight,
Right, yeah.
It's going to be a process. And I think that's where people get it confused, is that you've watched me for 4 seasons, for 3 seasons. Right. There were incidences and occurrences that, yes, again, I admit that I wasn't too proud of the way I handled those things, but there has been change. I went from hitting people to talking to people, from talking to people to learning how to sit down. You know what I'm saying? To learn how to just sit down and just say, okay, you know what, forget it. We're not going to agree. I have my opinion. You have yours. Let's move on. So with the situation last night, even with me working on myself, there are things that still, hurt me or cut me to my core. And if you call me a bitch 3 times, which, that's going to send me to a new level. And I stayed in my seat,
That's nice.
But then you're going to put the hand with it. And anybody that knows me knows I don't like that. And I, and I think that another moment that people missed in the show last night was, I talk with my hands. I'm a very expressive person, and I don't mean any intent. And I understand other people do that as well. And so people are like, well, how can you talk with your hands and you don't want nobody else to talk about it? Well, if they really watched the show, they saw when I was with the therapist that the hand for me makes me go back to my mother and how she used to scold me and discipline me. And it just really makes me feel less of a being when you are, sunning me, putting your hand up and pointing your finger at me. For me, it means something different than what it means when I actually do it.
Okay.
And that's what people never do. They never understand the other person's side. I'm not, it's just when I talk, I'm just talking like, oh, girl, and I'm going on because I'm the deliverer. Mm-hmm. But when I'm the receiver, it means something completely different to me. And those are things that I'm working on.
Right. I've seen that. You were upset and you sat down, which was really good. Something, that's really new to see Tami do on the show. Sat down and it was just, all right, let's get back to whatever it is we were discussing before this happened.
Yes, that is definitely new.
So you start on The Basketball Wives for 3 seasons now, and you're leaving. Why? Was it your decision? Do you have plans on continuing reality TV?
Well, I know my publicist doesn't want me to answer any questions about that, so we have to skip that one.
Okay, that's fine. So, your daughters, Jazz and Lyric Chanel, how hands are you on their music career? They're into music. I know one is rapping and the other is into singing. Are you their momager or are you still fired?
I am their momager.
All right.
They tried to fire me and I wasn't having that. But, Jazz is very, very serious about, her rap career, and she's now a part of a group called the Fooligans, and they're in the studio and, doing their photo shoots and all of that stuff. And we have several labels that I'm in negotiations with, trying to get them the best deal at this time. Lyric actually is away at school. And so right now her focus is, attending Baylor University and trying to get her degree. She wants to be an entertainment lawyer. So that's her focus until she decides to come back together with her 5-girl group, because she's a part of a 5-girl group now. And so we may start working on that this summer.
Oh, wonderful. Okay. So your Tami Roman hair collection specializes in curly hair. What can potential consumers expect in terms of quality and longevity?
Well, here's the thing. Over the course of the season, people have seen me, be involved with other hair companies where it was kind of like, this is the hair that I wear for this company. And, when those situations didn't go right in terms of what they were presenting to the consumer, we had to part ways. Because one thing about me is I stand behind what I'm telling somebody. I never want a person to be disappointed, in what, if I say, oh, girl, this hair is a bomb, then I want it to be the bomb,
Right,
And so, I took some time off and I actually used the hair from companies like Indique and another company, Glam Lux. Glam Lux Hair provided all the hair for season 5. And I got to step behind the scenes and kind of see what real quality, 100%, quality hair is, how the wefts should be constructed. The hair should be tangle-free, the proper products to put on hair. And so I diligently did the research. I went to manufacturers, I went to distributors, and I finally found someone that I like in terms of their quality. Does the hair dye well? So I look, does it flat iron well? Because for me, I wear my hair curly because I don't like to do my hair. And, it was proof positive on season 1 when I got into that fight with Evelyn with that little ugly bob. We had just come back from Spain and my hair was a mess because I don't know how to do my hair. So I said, I need to keep my stuff curly unless somebody flat irons it for me. So in doing all of my research and trying to find the best quality hair that I could find, those are the things that I look for. The construction of the weft. Is it really tangle-free? How long does the curl pattern last? How long can somebody keep this, product once they purchase? Is it a 2-month bag of Remy, or is it,
right,
a 6-month, 8-month, really quality hair that a person can keep for the long haul? Does it flat iron well? And once it flat irons, does it go back curly? Because, a lot of people have curly hair, you flat iron it, and that's it. Now it's wavy, So for me, I just, that's really what they can look for, is that, it flat irons well, it colors well. I'm actually rocking the colored hair now. I had a custom colored from its natural texture to blonde with the honey blonde highlights. So it colors well. You can flat iron it. You can keep this hair up to 8 months before you have to purchase a new, bundle, new bundles. The weft construction is top notch. It's tangle free, and I just stand behind it, and I wear it in my head. And I made it affordable because I know what I'm going to pay for some hair, so I made it comparable to, I'm not trying to. I don't want to ever be a person that just does something for the money. I want to be a person that stands behind my product, puts out a good quality product, and makes it affordable so that everyone can wear it, love it, and own it.
Wonderful. Kudos to you for that. Not many consumers can do that. And you've also unveiled the Tami Roman Love Cosmetics line. What is your initial goal behind these ventures? You have lip gloss and you have nail polish. What's the goal for these?
I want to be able to have something that, my kids can keep going with past my time here. With the passing of my mother, our family realized that, oh, wow, we really don't have much outside of our love for each other, and like my mother, on her deathbed, was very sad because she was unable to leave me something other than her legacy of being a wonderful mother to me, which I felt was enough, by the way. But I wanted to be able to start business ventures, to be taken seriously in, the corporate world, and be able to have something that my kids could be proud of and that could potentially live on past me. With the cosmetic line, that was my first venture. That I wanted to do that because when I was going through my hardship within the 2 years before I joined the Basketball Wives cast, that's all I could really do. I was working a 9-to-5 job, paying bills, trying to, put my kids, through school and maintain everything for them. And so our quality time was manis and petties on the weekend, and then I would go get a little lip gloss, I'd take them to Claire's or Sephora or whatever and, just get them a little something, because that's all I could really afford to do. And so when I decided to start a venture, I said, how many other people out there are like I was at that point in my life, and you just want to have a moment to yourself or take your daughter somewhere, and that's why I started PR Love Cosmetics. Okay. Now, within that, my daughter gave me a great suggestion with naming the product after people that are poignant in my life, and so that's what I did. Every lip gloss is named after someone that, was very special to me and had a very hands-on part of my life. And it's done pretty well. We are actually in select stores of Walgreens starting in December. And so, we did really well. We've got over 400 some odd select stores of Walgreens and planning on expanding that into, a nationwide larger market situation. So I'm excited because I'm one of the few people who's actually gone retail with my line. And I think that speaks volumes about the quality that is in the product, the price point, and, the look of the packaging and just everything that I want to represent as a brand. Okay. It speaks volumes that a Walgreens decided, no, this is something we could have on the shelves with Maybelline and CoverGirl and OPI and everyone else. So I'm very appreciative of the opportunity.
That's great. Okay, so what's next? Any new ventures we can expect from you?
Well, the only thing I have up next is I produced a short film that my daughter and I are starring in, and that's doing the film festival circuit, and I'm really proud of that because my daughter wrote it. Oh. And, we pulled a team together and made it happen, and we're at the Hollywood Black Film Festival on October 5th.
All right.
And the Phenom Film Festival this weekend, the 21st, and Real Sisters in New York, October 12th. So we're excited about it making its run, and it's about a father who comes back into his daughter's life after 13 years of being an absentee father. He finally wins joint custody as she's 17 years old. And this captures their first court-ordered weekend together. Oh. So it's an explosive moment.
Right. Absolutely, I can see that. Okay, Tami, I thank you for this wonderful opportunity for interviewing with us at First Online.